You're going to drain the swamp, or you're going to elect the most dishonest, the most corrupt, the most self-enriching people that have ever sought that office. And it's beyond corruption. By the way, wasn't it nice the foundation had such a good relationship with Chelsea? They even used money for poor people to buy her an expensive wedding dress.
Yes, I'm sure the Haitians thought, no, don't bother building those structures for us. Spend it on Chelsea's wedding.
By the way, that voice you know is the one and only Ann Coulter, and she's written a great piece, not only her book, which is a best-selling book now, In Trump We Trust. She wrote, My Final Argument for Trump, Humiliate the Media. There's a reckoning coming. I just told you before we came on the air. After this election,
right,
there is going to be war declared by me against every corrupt media figure that has been in bed with Hillary this entire campaign.
Right, and just the incessant lying. I mean, what people, if you're listening and you're on the fence and you're worried about some of the things you've heard about Trump, first of all, it is all lies, and it would have, anyone who takes Trump's positions would have been torn to shreds. It's almost as if he's cheating. He goes out and just, picks $1,000 bill that's lying on the sidewalk. Hey, anybody else want to take this? Mitt Romney, Chris Christie, Jeb Bush, want to pick up this $1,000 bill lying on the sidewalk? He just goes and takes the most popular issue of most popular side of every issue, whether it's building a wall, on taking America's side on immigration, no more pointless wars in the Middle East, ending these disastrous trade deals. Buicks are now being made in China. I was just watching earlier today, Obama lying up in Detroit, as we Michiganders, I went to law school there, call Detroit, about how Donald Trump he said the auto companies should go bankrupt. Remember, I had the bailout. It's utter nonsense. It was a CNBC interview in 2008, which I tweeted out today, if you'd like to see it, by the way. And what he's talking about, he's relying on the ignorance of his voters, of Hillary's voters, which they do all the time, of thinking bankruptcy means you get driven into the ground. No, I think as Trump has demonstrated, bankruptcy, when it's just a reorganization of a company, it's a way of reorganizing. And he said, yes, we should bail them out. There should be financing from the government. There should be a reorganization so the creditors get paid. But he has all these great quotes in the interview about how the health of GM, Ford, and Chrysler, this is crucial to the financial success of America. This is important to America. Obama's just lying about it. And that's how, he beat Romney.
See how pissed off that he got the other day? It's pretty interesting. Look, Obama...
With the auto bailout, that's what the fact that Hillary is even in these states and has to, appeal to, at the day before the election, to African-American voters does suggest to me, and is going to what have been blue states, suggests to me that they're not quite so confident about that 50-state landslide I've been hearing about for the past 6 months.
I've been hearing the same thing. I made my closing arguments. I'm going to do it again, doing my whole A block, 15 minutes tonight. I'll do it on TV alone, just laying out the case for Donald Trump and why we can't elect her.
The 13 points I had in my column on that, it was lies from the media. And, I could have gone on for 50 points. I didn't even get to the lie about Trump mocking a disabled reporter, which you can see on Catholics for Trump. There are the videos. This is how Trump imitates a flustered person. He has done the exact same imitation. In fact, in that speech, so the media knew they were lying, because later in that same speech, he did an imitation of a general being flustered. Does the exact same arms waving, mouth hanging open. He's done the same imitation of himself being flustered. So, fine, he's not going to be a sketch actor on Saturday Night Live, okay. But he was not mocking a disabled person. And by the way, Serge Kovaleski, that was the reporter at issue that has been allowed himself to be lied about for the greater good of slandering Donald Trump. For one thing, he was flustered. He deserved to be attacked. That was a very important punchback, and I'll get to that in a moment. I have a whole chapter in my book on it. But most importantly, his disability isn't what Trump was doing. Trump was doing if you were claiming it was a disability, you're imagining somebody with epilepsy or spastic or something. No. Kovaleski it's almost the opposite. His wrists are locked in place, so it's as if he did. If you're trying to do an imitation of a blind person, you don't limp. So of course he was not. Let
me ask you
and
this.
if it's a horrible thing to mock a disabled person, isn't it an equally horrible thing to falsely accuse someone of mocking a disabled person?
But the left does this every election. They falsely accused poor Mitt Romney of hating women and being racist and not caring about anybody but the rich.
But it was a love fest compared to the way they're treating
of course.
Trump.
Well, look, I love what you say, humiliate the media. There is going to be a reckoning with the news media, and I am going to lead the charge up the hill, whatever happens, win, lose, or draw tomorrow. Look, I spent over a year and a half laying out the case about how bad Obama would be, and I wish I was wrong. You were there laying out the case as well, and I'm taking shots, bullets, arrows fired from every direction, in both in 07, 08, and 2012, and it's the same thing here. I can predict with certainty her economic plan is going to hurt this country, her foreign policy is going to hurt this country, her corruption is beyond the stench. Right. We're going to be paralyzed. But I made my case. What is your closing argument? Why do you want people in Florida, Ohio, North Carolina, Iowa, New Hampshire, and Maine, in Wisconsin, and Michigan, and Minnesota, and Pennsylvania, and Colorado, New Mexico, Nevada? This is no longer Democrats versus the Republicans. It's the ruling class against the American people. I don't care what your political party is. This is Wall Street, the hedge funds, the political consultants, Washington, D.C., and as we have seen, the entire media protecting their privileges, their cheap labor, their fake virtue. Hillary wants open borders. She says she has vowed to grant amnesty to all illegal aliens in this country. Boy, we keep hearing about Donald Trump not giving us specifics. We haven't gotten any specifics from Hillary Clinton. How many? How about the felons? Does she amnesty them? She says if she can't get Congress to pass it, she'll do it the way Barack Obama did. And since she's going to get the next, if she wins, she will get the next Supreme Court nominee. That will be upheld. That means immediately another 40, 50 million voters for the Democrats. It's the end of America. There is no point in caring about politics anymore. There's no point to what you do, I do, Fox News, talk radio. The entire country becomes California. And by the way, soon the Democrats are gone too. They think they're going to be living on High Street. Look at the Democratic Party in California. It isn't the Democratic Party as we conceive of it nationally in a multicultural society, in an ethnically diverse society. As the president of Singapore told the Financial Times about a decade ago, people stop voting their ethnic, or their political interests, their social interests, their economic interests. They vote their ethnic group. And that's exactly what's happened in California. You don't have like Nancy Pelosi Democrats against Joe Biden, third way Democrats, blue collar Democrats. What you have is black Democrats against Asian Democrats, against Hispanic Democrats. Soon we'll have the Muslim Democrats. It's the end of America as we conceive of it. I mean, this is for everyone who lives here. The Trans-Pacific Partnership goes through immediately. Any remaining jobs that haven't already been shipped to Mexico. Just look at the Supreme Court, Dan. I mean, the Supreme Court alone will shift and change this country for generations.
That's true of any Democrat, but particularly with Hillary, the corruption, the end through third world immigration. And I assume the immigrants who came to this country because they didn't want to be living in their old countries. They wanted to be living in America. Well, they will have gone to a lot of trouble, and they won't be living in America anymore, and nor will Americans. We'll be homesick forever.
Yeah, I agree with you. All right, so, look, everybody keeps asking me. I'm sure every airport you walk through, like I do, and any cafe you go in, or I'm sure you get lattes at Starbucks, Miss Coulter.
Well, I just got one from Lauren. Thank you.
Oh,
Lauren.
Okay, but the question, well, Lauren's going to open her own shop. Look, everyone wants me to be able to tell them what's going to happen tomorrow, and my answer is I honestly don't know. I do like the
issue
trends.
Is, I think I've thought from the beginning he has 90% chance of winning the nomination and 60% chance of winning the election, but that's a pretty big chance for the end of America. This isn't Reagan versus Mondale anymore, where we have, a tough 4 years, Republicans lose, we think the policies aren't as great. This is it. This is your last chance, America. And the way my electoral map goes, it's, the question is, has the Teddy Kennedy's 1965 Immigration Act so transformed the country, brought in so many foreigners to outvote Americans that we can't win anymore? Because you look at these rallies, you look at the enthusiasm Donald Trump, this movement is getting Democrats. I think he will get more black votes, as you know, than any other Republican since Nixon, or black voters won't knock themselves out to vote. I think he will do at least as well as other Republicans with Hispanics. But interestingly, a few weeks ago, I saw a poll. Trump was winning with Hispanics who speak English, not with Hispanics who don't speak English.
Apparently he's doing well with Cuban Americans down in
He's doing
Miami.
well with Puerto Ricans and Dominicans. If they speak English, they'd like their wages to go up. The issue is, yes, we can win immigrants over eventually, but when they come in, live among themselves, speak their own language, they are pandered to by ethnic activist groups, and we're doing the sorcerer's apprentice thing. As we're converting the ones who came in, 10, 20 years ago, the Democrats are bringing in another 2 million every year. You can't fight that. And the issue is, and this is why I was a little ticked off with Wisconsin, both with Paul Ryan and not voting for Trump in the primary. What happens in these states is it's as if you need a certain percentage of third world immigrants to recognize what the problem is. But if you have too many, you're at the point of no return. That's California. I think Trump, I never had Trump winning Florida. I never had him winning Colorado because of the large Hispanic populations. Now, I hope I'm wrong. I have him winning more the industrial Midwest on my map. Pennsylvania, Ohio, Michigan. I think he's going to win Michigan. I think he has a good shot at Wisconsin, good shot at Minnesota, states we haven't taken for a while. I think he has a shot at Oregon.
And if we had our maps together, this is a bombshell landslide that'll send the country liberals into a freak out because I have Florida on my map.
Well, he's doing well in the polls but contrary to what they're telling you in the media, he doesn't have to win Florida. That was never part of my map. And by the way, I don't think he's going to win. I'm not claiming he's going to win all of those states. He only needs to win 2 or 3 of the ones I just mentioned, because those are, I don't think, and by the way, for 8 years, Obama has been flying in Central Americans and Mexicans to Detroit.
Look where they're putting them.
Yeah, the states they need to turn.
The states strategically
they have not been winning the argument. They have brought in ringers.
All right, Ann, I got to let you go.
Vote Trump, even if you're in New York or California, because they're going to whine about the popular vote. And please get In Trump We Trust.
All right, thank you. Ann Coulter, good to see you.
Good to see you.
There's going to be a war either way in the Republican Party by me against them and against the media starting probably the day after tomorrow.